the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. Out of by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
It's McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, July 7th. Special. I forgot to text him, so I just realized it was July 7th. So I'm gonna do a special shout out, and I'm gonna text him here in a second. Happy birthday to my brother Brad Mitchell. Gonna be honest, I don't know if I've looked at the calendar today, so sorry for the late text, but you did get a shout out. I feel like that's an appropriate save. Happy anniversary as well, Landon.
Thank you.
July 7th.
Yeah.
I've not looked at a calendar today, folks.
Well, that was the thing. We were watching church this morning on TV, broadcasting it, real life problems. And my wife looked at me and she was like, "Is it July 7th?" I was like,
looks like it.
She was like, "Happy anniversary." I was like, "Happy anniversary. I can't believe you forgot."
Yeah, you're like, it will be when I run out and get flowers. It'll be July 7th. So just wait a second.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that it's already July, and it's we'll call it the middle of July because it already feels like it's that. Football season here before you know it. Can't wait. Fire me up. I mean, next week, NCAA.
Dang. Did you already buy it?
I haven't even bought the PS5 yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I got a ways to go, man.
That makes me feel a little better.
It is so expensive. I know what you're thinking, Caleb. We probably shouldn't have bought like 3 Lego sets this week. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. So yeah, that guess I'll be purchasing this week. If anybody's got like an Amazon discount code or something, hook a brother up.
Yeah.
I should save some money. I've been using my Amazon credit card. It's why we use a credit card for moments like these. Dave Ramsey can shut up. Did you get like $120 towards your PS5? Didn't think so.
Free money. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's July. We're getting closer to football season, and I want to give one last shout out to Tony Vitello and the boys for making this offseason feel very, very short. As much fun as the offseason is, the speculation, all that, nowhere near as much fun as the actual season. So for that, the national championship was fun. The shorter off season's really fun.
Oh yeah, that's what you want. This dead period right now is just like, it's like just slow enough to like get a rest from baseball season, just for football season to pick up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I got my Xander Seacrest jersey in.
Okay. Fit well?
No. It's a large. It's huge. So I'm hoping that means it shrinks to an actual large. So that's good. I'm glad I didn't go with an XL. You seemed like I should. You said I just didn't trust you, and I apologize, but it ended up being the right decision.
Yeah, the XL is massive.
Have you shrunk it yet?
No, I haven't.
I haven't tried.
I'm actually like, do I try to just send it back and get a large? Is that or do I just try to shrink it and see what happens? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
at a crossroads. I don't know
not the
what to
person
do
to ask. I don't know. I'd probably be the guy that just kept it.
It is
never wore it.
It is cream, not comfort color.
Yeah. Wasn't it supposed to be a different color?
No, I'm saying I asked Xander if it was comfort color, and he was just like, "It's cream." I'm like,
okay. I just maybe I didn't realize what I was ordering. I thought maybe it was orange or something. I remember like as I was opening it, I was like, "What did I get?" I was confused. When you said that, I was like, "Sweet." I was not crazy, but yeah.
You
Also got a
you just
pretty
thought it
cool-
was more national championship gear finally coming in.
I am waiting for a good order to come in from the Wall shop currently.
Yeah.
That every day I keep checking the mail. My Nike shoes come tomorrow. My Nike golf shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to shoot shoot 12 over on one side and I don't know what 2-3 over on the other side. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
This is a tough week of golf for me.
Dude, you're telling me.
I'd rather be in your shoes, man. At least you're not sitting there like, I wish I didn't suck all the time or half the time. I'd rather suck all the time. I don't understand. I've sucked all the time. I've been there. I've played that rodeo. Just don't give me hope. That's what I'm saying. Stop giving me hope. It's
Well, the
dumb.
one good shot you hit, you're just like, all right, I got to figure it out. Then the next shot goes all to hell. So
It's the hope that kills you.
That's true.
It is. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm excited for my new Nike golf shoes that are going to be stomped around in angrily after bad shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty fired up. We keep rolling on. Next, I guess it's why didn't they just make it official until SEC Media Days next week? No,
Make what
even
official?
Texas joining.
Oh, I don't know.
They had to just have like a giant circle jerk on SEC Network, I guess.
They're like, Tennessee just won the national championship. We don't have anything else. Let's do this. It was a slow day, I guess, in the sports world.
I don't care because I think the Sports Center Top 10 has been fraudulent for a while. Do you know what Hunter Inslee's was at?
I
His catch?
don't. No, I'm.
It was number 10. I want you to guess what number 9 was.
God,
Just guess the sport it was.
Was it skee ball?
Close, really close. It was a pickleball play. It was number 9. They went from showing Hunter Inslee in the College World Series a catch at the wall that he crashes into to showing a pickleball play. And I don't know if it was a great pickleball play, but it's pickleball. It's a recreational sport. I don't care how much money's on the line. I don't care if they're playing for $10,000. It's a recreational sport.
That's wild.
Kavaris Tears was like number 4. His against North Carolina.
So just all over the place. They have no clue what they're doing over there.
I think summer's even harder for them because I know how difficult a routine, shortstop play is. Like I know it's not easy, but I think they struggle in the summer because, to be fair, all baseball plays look fairly the same.
Yeah,
that's except for Hunter Inslee's where he crashes hard into a wall.
Mm-hmm.
How many? Because I found a TikTok page where it has all of them from like a dude uploads them every day, and there were so many catches like at the wall where guys go up and jump. There was one where a guy jumps maybe that high off the ground, but it's a home run robbery. Not really that difficult to catch. Borderline fly ball. He just had to put his glove over the wall a little bit. And it was number 2, I think. And I'm thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I bet Bronny's like layup that he made in the last game was like number 4.
I'm sure.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Santiago Vescovi should be all over those. He makes routine layups look really hard. He made one today look pretty hard.
Exactly. Yeah.
I loved it. We already have Hunter Inslee's eye black. How long it stays on the wall. If I was Hunter Inslee, I would have taken a knife out there with me after the national championship and cut it out. And I would be like, stop me. Stop.
Yeah.
Somebody come and arrest me.
They probably wouldn't have known. Not
until next year.
Yeah. Greg McElroy would have, he would have had a whole segment about it. How classless it was.
With how like weird ballparks are, someone would be like, that's a cool feature they've got there. Just like a little hole for the bullpen to see out of.
Peephole.
Yeah. Like, they're letting that security guard watch the game. It's so nice. Exactly.
All right, let's get into.
I found that being fun. Yeah, we'll get into this show. Before we do jump into some more baseball. Actually, I'm going to tell you guys about Great A Grounds. Great A is a local coffee roasting company in Kingsport, Tennessee, owned and operated by 2 educators, Billy and Kurt, both in the Johnson City area, being educators and not only wanted to make great coffee, but also wanted to support their community and their students. Their main goal as a company is to give back to students in the area. They do that by donating 5% of all of their sales to a nonprofit organization that supports students all over the Tri-Cities called Coalition for Kids. They do that with every sale, something they're doing right now. It's a special. It's the gold medal blend. It is a special blend that they produced for our golf tournament coming up here September 28th. It's the gold medal blend supporting the Special Olympics of Greater Knoxville. those proceeds will go directly towards Special Olympics of Greater Knoxville as you purchase them going forward. So make sure you go to the website, check that out. You'll see all the art on those bags made by children in classrooms in Knoxville that are members of the Special Olympics of Greater Knoxville. But you'll also see artwork on their normal bags from students in the Johnson City area. So make sure you go check those out. Use promo code GOVOLS, capital G, capital V, GOVOLS for 10% off today. Shout out to Great A Grounds. Shout out to the Gold Medal Blend. Really appreciate them.
Yep. Love it. All right. Back in the portal. I guess like the portal's been good to us because it's like more news, especially like during the off season. Like that's what we talk about, recruiting and transfer portal stuff.
Right.
But this is like, it's a weird thing for Tennessee because like, I mean, LSU, everybody's like, oh, they're killing it in the portal. Well, yeah, they had like 2 extra weeks to like get a head start while all the other SEC teams that are in that upper echelon are in Omaha.
You should be allowed to host where you're playing. If it's going to open while games are still going on, Tennessee, A&M, not Arkansas, Kentucky, they should be allowed to bring people to Omaha for visits.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, that would be a huge selling point. Right.
Because you're right. How do you, sure, you have those conversations happening. You have guys that are on staff that are helping kind of kickstart those relationships, but the head coaches can't really take anything on. You can't bring anybody in for visits. You're in Omaha for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they kind of got a head start, but also like Tennessee's focus was not on who are we getting next year. It's let's win a freaking national championship. And sure. I guess the counterpart to that is if you go win the national championship, there is not a better recruiting pitch than a title. And I get that.
Sure. But a lot of guys, like how many people committed before the national championship was done or it was finished.
And then Tennessee got the host, that weekend of the Evansville Super Regional, but after that, like you still have guys taking visits and stuff like that. I think it was kind of hard to do that. And you did have some guys go with Tennessee. I don't know what that looks like in terms of official, unofficial.
I would argue too that what's A&M's advantage since they didn't win at all.
Yeah.
And then lost a coach.
Yeah, I mean, they just lost at everything.
Going to Omaha might have been the worst thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you ain't first, you're last kind of thing was definitely meant for Texas A&M.
Yeah, poor guys. Sorry, didn't mean that was a kind of a stray. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to all you Aggies. Normally, I'd make fun of you. Today, it feels wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But Tennessee did land a couple of transfer portal additions. The first one, Tanner Franklin out of Kennesaw State, formerly from Jefferson County High School, just down I-40, about 40 minutes away, off exit 417. And the standout at Kennesaw State can run that fastball up to 99 miles an hour. Probably needs some work location-wise, but you can't coach velo, and the kid's got a lot of it. So I think that's going to be a big bullpen addition once he gets to work with Frank Anderson and gets that kind of control ready. But he's thrown in the Cape already. I think last night or the night before, I can't remember, through 2 innings, faced the minimum and struck out 3 batters. So I think he's definitely there working on control and, just seeing him come out of the bullpen there against good competition is a good sign. So definitely a big addition at a 5.6 ERA at Kennesaw State, pitched 27 1/3, 43 strikeouts, 27 walks, batting average 212. So pretty solid, I would say. And just a big addition after you lose so many guys out of the bullpen from this past year.
Yep.
And then the big fish, Gavin Killen. Dog.
Yeah, it feels like a big domino too.
Yeah,
feels like you got some stir in the transfer portal, if you will now.
And when you're landing like guys out of the portal, like there's always worry, like if he's at a smaller time program, how does it translate?
Right.
Well, I think you saw with Billy Amick, and I think the same with Gavin Killen. Like the ACC, yet it's not as dominant as the SEC. You saw that in Omaha, but those
They're
teams
competitive,
got
man.
Yeah,
and they're competitive. I mean, Clemson was really close to pushing an elimination game last year in regionals with Tennessee, and then you look at that Florida series with them. Some may argue that some favorable got Florida at Omaha at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So they were close too, again, this year. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where are they dominant? Not as a conference, but they've got some really, really competitive teams.
Yeah. And he dominated. He was he batted .339, 76 hits, 10 home runs, 44 RBIs, hit kind of in the middle of the lineup, played middle infield, a lot of short, a lot of second base. Played, I think, mostly second base his first year on campus at Louisville. Big addition. And again, you lose Christian Moore. You need somebody you want a bat with some pop, and you want a guy that can play the field. And I think they got that and one of the best transfer portal guys in the country in Gavin Killen.
Absolutely.
And we'll see. We're going to get Ben McKee on here in a second. And I kind of want to ask him, like, what's it look like for this team next year? Because, they're trying to add a bunch of infielders, which I know you lose Blake and Christian Moore and Billy. You have Dean Curley, Antigua. You have some guys like able to step in. So is it just, hey, we'll see what works and figure it out from there? Or is it do they kind of have a plan in place? I'm interested to kind of get his take on it.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see. And then you've also had, you got some visitors coming this week. You also had Kendall Rogers stir up some talk of either a Morgan Wallen concert or just players transferring to Tennessee. I like people trying to read between the lines of a Kendall Rogers tweet. And somehow it leads to a Morgan Wallen concert. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Kendall Rogers had the scoop on that is the one thing.
Well, yeah, I love that we're playing kind of telephone here. It was somebody was like, yeah, I heard it's the week of the Oklahoma game. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You would do it during a home weekend, right? You would
not in England. You can't.
You wouldn't try to do it like if it was a Saturday 1 o'clock game. You couldn't do it like that night.
I don't think you get set up in time. Nah.
So it'd have to be an away game. I guess what away?
It
could be a bye week. Yeah.
You know what really sucks? I think it'll be September 28th if it's in September.
Who cares?
We say it would suck, but
here's the thing.
But can we get him out to the golf course that day then?
Maybe, but the thing is, like, there's a lot of people not going to go because I can't imagine what those ticket prices are going to be.
To play golf or to the concert?
At the concert, not to play golf.
But I think one. No offense, Morgan. I think one's more significant than the other.
Yeah, sure.
So that's just my opinion of it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of golf, I do have a question. We ran into Ben as he made the turn, so we'll get him on here and see how he finished up. He wasn't super excited. He seemed so. We'll find out. What's up, man?
What's up? How are y'all?
Good, man. You?
Doing I was doing well, and then I heard Caleb talking about my golf game and quickly sent me into a deep depression.
I apologize. I hate to throw another stray out. I've already done it to A&M, but at least like your playing partner, you weren't buying balls at the turn. So that is a positive.
That is true. I was with my college roommate, Ethan, and he lives up in Johnson City, and he was in town for the 4th and wanted to hit up Iguani, and he had thankfully remembered to bring his clubs and shoes and all that good stuff, but forgot his golf balls that he had purchased back in Johnson City. So was in need of some golf balls at the turn. So that does make me feel a little bit better. Now that you mentioned that, I at least didn't have to buy any golf balls. I was losing plenty, but I also had plenty previously. So I guess it could have been worse.
Yeah. That was it was a tough week of golf for the both of us too. So.
Yeah, but you got to play with. Look, I love my buddy Ethan. That's my guy. He is my best friend. He was in my wedding. I was in his wedding, but he's also not as entertaining as Xander Seacrest. So I don't know. Y'all say that y'all had a bad week of golf, but you got to play with Xander. And,
that's true.
I don't know. It's much better than that. That guy is man. He is an oddball, and I say that in the best way possible. He is everybody adores Xander for a reason, and you all got to spend some time with him yet again. So it doesn't sound like it was too bad of a week for y'all on the course.
Yeah, he picked the wrong partner for sure, but it was fun. It was fun. It was good.
I was hoping some of that national champion would kind of rub off on me out there. It didn't work. So I tried using Xander.
How's
for
his
that.
swing?
Pretty good. He hits the ball very far. His driver's works.
He's a great putter.
He is. Oh my gosh.
Especially when it matters the most. I know you're not surprised by that, but when it matters the most, your boy is knocking down a putt.
That is good. That is good. Not surprising at all. To your point, he does deliver when it matters most, as we just found out. I guess now in hindsight, moving forward, we can view his 6 starts that run that he had from the final day of the regular season and until he won the national championship for Tennessee. I guess we can consider that like a putt almost. Like he was putting to win Tennessee the Natty and came through obviously.
Yeah, like a 30-foot birdie putt. Yeah, he was on it.
I won't spoil too much. We have a video coming out, but I think we saw you at the golf course probably around 6:30. Plan was to play 9 holes. We didn't leave till 10. That's how long he kept us around, just making ridiculous putts.
Wow, I'm surprised there was enough light. Did y'all have to turn the?
Oh yeah, it was dark.
Cars on.
We lost some balls. Now we're probably in the middle of the fairway.
That makes sense. No, Xander's great people. You won't find much better people, if at all, than Xander. Heck of an athlete, and sounds like he pitched himself into a significant pro opportunity. So happy for him and his family. He certainly deserves it as much as anybody.
Yeah, and speaking of really good athletes, Tennessee's trying to land some out of the portal currently. Got one in Gavin Killen, another guy in Tanner Franklin. What's kind of your, not a lot of people know of Tanner Franklin. What's kind of your overall take on that addition?
Yeah, I think it's a really nice pickup. I mean, a guy that's been up to 98, and Tennessee believes that when he gets to work with Quentin Eberhard and Frank Anderson, he's going to make another jump. I mean, how can you not get excited about that if you're a Tennessee person or a fan of Tennessee baseball? I mean, what does a jump from 98 miles an hour look like? I mean, is he going to be pumping 102 like Ben Joyce?
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So he's a bigger bodied pitcher, a righty, and his ERA, you can't judge it based off of his ERA at Kennesaw State. And he even saw his ERA improve from just over 8 to just over 5 this past season. But Tennessee has the best pitching coach in the country, certainly one of the best pitching coaches of all time. And I don't think that's too crazy to say in Frank. And you just trust any pitcher that they're going to bring in with Frank leading the way and coaching them up and things along those lines. So another, AJ Causey, Andrew Lindsay, Chris Stamos, where the ERA didn't look great at their previous school, but you know that he's going to take a jump once he gets to work with Frank. I talked to him. He throws a curveball, a changeup, and a cutter as well. He said his fastball is his favorite pitch because he throws upper 90s. Why would that not be your favorite pitch if you throw upper 90s? Xander is not saying that his favorite pitch is his fastball, if we were to ask him. But he said he likes throwing the curveball. I believe he told me that was his favorite secondary pitch because he thinks that it makes hitters look really silly, and he really likes his cutter as well. Does a great job of tunneling it with the fastball and avoiding some barrels with that cutter. So it's a really nice pickup. Again, I don't think you can look at the ERA. I like to look at the strikeouts per 9 innings. That tells you whether he has good stuff. And I believe it was something along the lines of 47-ish strikeouts and 20-something innings. So that tells you that he has good stuff if the velocity wasn't doing it for you. So once he gets to work with Q and Frank, you know that there's another jump in there. Tennessee certainly thinks so, and I think that's a big-time pickup for Tennessee. One that can prove really sneaky and really pivotal once they get into the flow of things next season. And Lord knows that they need pitching with as much as they're losing from this year's team.
Sure, and that seems to be a big emphasis is, you landed a righty in this, but it seems left-handed pitching is a big emphasis in the portal, with Liam Doyle, Cade Fisher at Florida. Is there any kind of other names that you've seen out there that Tennessee's wanting to host? We know the Ole Miss duo, that's been rumored out there, and we'll see what happens there. I think they're supposed to be in tomorrow. So who else have you kind of heard about?
Yeah, the Ole Miss duo of Liam Doyle, the lefty who transferred from Coastal Carolina last offseason to Ole Miss. Tennessee was in the mix there. And I believe Tennessee was one of his finalists last year when he ultimately decided to pick Ole Miss. He will be in town beginning tomorrow, from my understanding, along with Andrew Fisher, completing the Ole Miss duo. Andrew Fisher, the third baseman, who ended up playing designated hitter down the stretch. I believe y'all are going to ask me about infield, so I'll wait and talk about him a little bit later. But yeah, Doyle and Fisher, the Ole Miss tandem, is supposed to be here on campus tomorrow. I know that fans were getting excited about a report that came out this afternoon. If they were locked into the Tennessee media, they saw this happen on Friday. Myself and others reported that those two were going to be in town, along with the others, as you mentioned. Brandon Arvidsson is a JUCO arm, a lefty who is from the state of Texas, not too far from the hometown of Josh Elander, and is somebody that started his career at. It's funny in hindsight now with everything that's happened with A&M in Texas, but began his career at A&M in 2023 under Schlossnagle, elected to go to JUCO. So he was at JUCO this year at San Jacinto, which is the community college that really helped Tennessee get Alric Solari to Tennessee back in the day, one of Tennessee's first big recruiting wins, and was really good from the left side. And then he was actually signed with Texas, and then the coaching change happened, and he backed out of his – I've got to slow it down because NIL and NLI, if I try to say it too fast, I get it backwards nowadays, but asked out of his national letter of intent. And he is currently wrapping up a visit as we speak. He got here on Saturday, from my understanding, and wrapping up his visit with dinner tonight. They've also got Eric – I've butchered this name every time I've tried to say it – Radazak, a Niagara first baseman. He was the MAAC Player of the Year, a really good bat. Like I said, first baseman, but the Niagara roster also lists him as an outfielder. Tennessee going to need another corner outfielder. Reese Chapman's probably going to be in right, but you need another corner outfielder. So maybe he's somebody that they envision playing in the corner outfield as well. If they were able to land him, you would have to be worried about that one. He is this year's Ryan Galaney from Wofford, if you remember from last offseason, where big-time commitment, and was a significant draft risk. He was tearing it up in the Cape Cod League. And Eric Radazak from Niagara is kind of following that same path of big-time bat in college, but he's actually playing in the Futures League, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's the name of it. It's a newer league, more intended for draft purposes, and I believe it's associated with Major League Baseball, and he's swinging it like crazy right now. So even if you were able to land his commitment, he's one that you'd be really, really nervous about. And by the way, Ryan Galaney, I looked his numbers up the other day. He's hitting over 300 at a single A for the White Sox organization and has like 13 homers. 300 batting average and 13 homers in your first year of professional baseball. Imagine if he was in this lineup this past season.
That's crazy.
You know what it already had. But those are the names that came in on Saturday. And then today, Kate Fisher from Florida, a lefty pitcher. He's in town right now as we speak as well. I believe all those guys are at dinner as we speak right now. But in terms of the pitching side, Brandon Arvidsson, the JUCO lefty that I talked about, and then Kate Fisher from Florida, who was really good as a freshman 2 years ago, took a step back this year. The numbers don't look pretty, but he's somebody that if it clicks, and I believe he was on the All-SEC freshman team, so there's a ton of potential there, and for whatever reason, it didn't click. And I believe he was going to be the opening day starter for Florida. And Kevin O'Sullivan has just had a long lineage of elite pitchers in Gainesville, and if you're good enough to open on opening day as the starter, then you've got some stuff to you. So he's in the portal and currently visiting. But Brandon Arvidsson, the JUCO guy, and then Kate Fisher from Florida, along with Liam Doyle, who will be here tomorrow. Those are kind of the pitching names that I'm looking at right now. Miles Patton, I believe it is, from Long Beach State. Don't believe he's visited yet, and I don't know that there's a visit currently set up. He is somebody that Tennessee is interested in as well. Of course, one that I think is really flying under the radar, same as Tanner Franklin, and pretty much I feel the same way about this guy, but Thomas Crabtree, a JUCO guy. He's from West Tennessee, the Memphis area. I believe Collierville. He was at Pearl River Community College this past season and was really, really good. Another high velo guy, another big kid, big physical body. So there's some pitching coming in. Several JUCO arms that that have some big time velocity, some big time stuff to them, and then they're after several lefties in the portal as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about infield in terms of replacing too. We actually had a question in regards to pitching, I think, right before you came on, and where's Snead, if he's going to start this year, what that looks like. Do you feel like they're trying to address more starting roles? Obviously, they're going to have to also do a lot in the bullpen too. But where do you think that are they going to maybe trust some guys that are on staff to step into those starting roles, replace it as it goes? What does that look like as they go into fall ball?
On July 7th, they do not care one bit. They are just
get arms.
just get good arms and let them battle it out in the fall. And you'll obviously learn about your newcomers as you go, as you get into the fall, as they come back from Christmas for preseason practice, as you get into the regular season, the first couple of weeks of the regular season, you'll learn, which guys are capable of handling a starting role, which guys are capable of coming out of the bullpen, or maybe not even handling per se, but maybe better suited. Like Nate Snead could have started for you, but with this particular team this past season, I know it's weird to say this because you had an opener in game one, and Xander was viewed as an opener up until he kind of took off there at the end of the season, and until his putt. We'll say his off the tee and his mid-range game, his iron game. Yeah. He was an opener for that. But Nate was a guy that could have started, but just where he is at in his development this past season and what Tennessee needed out of the bullpen, he was better suited to come out of the bullpen. So he's a guy. I believe I asked him in Omaha, kind of like, hey, do you want to start next year? And I think he admitted, like, yeah, I'd like to start, but I'm good with whatever, right. I'm just focused on developing, getting better, and whatever role I earn, whatever role they give me, like, I'm cool with that. And that's kind of the message. I always ask if the kid picks up their phone, if the transfers pick up their phone, which it's hit or miss with a lot of the transfers. But I always try to ask the pitchers, like, hey, have they said, are you coming in as a starter or reliever? What do they envision you as? And every single time we didn't talk about that. It's, I'm going to come in and compete. Whatever role they give me, I'll take it and run with it. Whatever role I earn, I'll take that and do the best I can with it. So Tony is not worried about that on July 7th. I know fans want to know, and even I want to know, and it's a fascinating conversation to have. But that's not something that they'll get an idea for probably until the fall. At the earliest, if not right up until you're mapping out how you're building guys up in preseason practice up until that opening weekend. But I am fascinated to see how Nate Snead pans out this next year in terms of the role. He's obviously going to be one of Tennessee's key arms. I think if he can develop or solidify a third or fourth pitch this offseason, then he is certainly somebody that can be a starter. But it's also hard not to look at this season and think that Nate Snead was at his best when he was coming in out of the bullpen, kind of in that Chase Burns role from 2 years ago, where he was just coming in, pumping gas and just letting it loose, letting that thing cook, kind of like a wild thing. So Nate Snead is going to be a big piece of the puzzle. We'll see what it looks like, though, in terms of what role he has.
Yeah, and I don't mean to steer the conversation away from recruiting, but we haven't talked about this since we've won with you, so I'm curious. We talked about it probably going into regionals, maybe super regionals. This might have been Frank Anderson's best job. It seems like every year you get in, and not to discredit the guys that just won a national championship, but didn't have the star power with their name that you'd seen in the past 2 years. The past 2 years at Tennessee, and then they come in top 10 ERA, top 10 ERA in the country, and then you see what they do in Omaha. I mean, got to be his best job. So it kind of fires me up a little bit. Like, we don't know what we have. Let's let him play with it a little bit, put the right pieces in the puzzle there and go with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I completely agree that this was Frank Anderson's best coaching job. And I talked to him on the field after the game when they won the national championship. And that video, like 3 or 4 minutes, myself and Eric Kane spoke to him on the field. And it's on our YouTube page at GoVols 24/7 if anybody wants to go listen to it in depth. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he said, like, well, you don't draw it up this way to win a national championship. In terms of the pitching, like, you're not supposed to win a national championship with the way that we had to go about doing things on the mound this year. And I mean, it's incredible. I believe they finished number 1 in ERA, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked it up myself. I know they were like top 2, top 3, and I remember my coworker Wes Rucker telling me before the series with A&M started, he was like, if the numbers like sit right, like Tennessee could end up with the best ERA in the country. And I think that they ended up with the #1 ERA in the country, which is remarkable. The thing that like everybody wants to talk about Stamos opening and Xander coming along like he did and serving as somewhat of an opener for a good chunk of the season. But the thing that people should start with first and foremost, aside from like Chase Burns transferring out and Chase Burns is about to be a top 10 pick, like after the Chase Burns development last offseason, you have AJ Russell, who was going to be Tennessee's best pitcher this season. And I don't know that it would have been close, with all due respect to Drew Beam. Like there's a reason that AJ Russell was the starter on opening day. His stuff is filthy. And you saw it in that Texas Tech performance. He is a guy that was on track to be a bona fide first-round pick, all-SEC player, All-American. I mean, he was going to be up there with any pitcher that's pitched at Tennessee. Garrett Crochet, Chase Dolander, Chase Burns when he was really cooking, Drew Beam when he's been at his best. So, like, you lose that type of arm, and you still won a national championship. You still were able to overcome that. Like, if I'm being honest, all year long I was waiting on the other shoe to drop with the pitching staff. I just was. I didn't think that they had enough to go win a national championship. I did not anticipate Xander pitching in the manner that he ended up pitching in. And here and there, like Nate Snead took a big step forward over the course of the season. Kirby Connell, like he was out of gas. Aaron Combs was out of gas. Stamos and Causey just – I know some people kind of they feel iffy about Stamos opening, but I also think Stamos was a victim of a lot of bad luck as well. Not a ton of help around him. Not completely excusing his performances at times, but Stamos also worked for more often than he did not. And Causey was just tremendous as well. So,
and this doesn't directly relate to winning a national championship, but a freshman came in and won you the SEC championship game too. And Dylan Lloyd.
Dylan Lloyd.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely crazy. I mean, that's part of the storyline with this team is that it was the first SEC team with 60 wins, and then to win all the achievements that it won, titles that it won. But I believe it was also just the fourth SEC team ever to sweep the regular season SEC tournament and win the whole national championship. And they did it in a very unconventional fashion. I mean, again, Frank Anderson said it best. Like, you're not supposed to win a national championship in that manner. And I absolutely agree that it was his best pitching job, overcoming the loss of Chase Burns, overcoming the loss of AJ Russell, having to deal with an opener and moving to an opener midway through the season. And then developing Xander, developing so many other guys. And like, I always wondered, like, hey, is there a lot of pitching depth? Was there enough pitching depth? And, you know, they had guys step up when it mattered most and deliver them some outs. And, there's going to be a lot of inexperience on the mound next season for Tennessee. There will be some familiar faces, of course, but there will be a lot of inexperience, and Frank's going to have his work cut out for him this fall and in the preseason. But there's going to be a ton of talent on the mound. Their freshman pitching class coming in is absolutely ridiculous, especially if Anson Siebert and Tegan Coons, their top two pitching arms, if they are able to avoid the draft and make it to campus, and you're bringing in these JUCO arms and transfers that are kind of flying under the radar, that are pumping upper 90s velocity, and you have like a Marcus Phillips who should take a big step forward. And if you were able to go out and get Cade Fisher and Liam Doyle to top it off, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talent on the mound next year, and you may have some growing pains, but knowing Frank Anderson, he'll have it clicking right when it matters most.
Yeah, and when you talked about that, the pitching, and they kind of did it like unconventional. I think the same thing with Cal Stark. I don't think anybody thought he was going to be the option at catcher, especially if they end up winning a national championship. Dean Curley, I don't think anybody really thought he was going to be the shortstop. I think everybody thought Antigua, and then they kind of dealt with some injuries. He didn't open the season, and he kind of just lit the world on fire. Looking at the infield, you lose a lot. Blake Burke, Christian Moore, Billy Amick, top three hitters. You're kind of going after a lot of infielders. Is it kind of the same thing with pitching? You're just trying to get guys in here and see what works again?
Yeah. I asked about positioning the other day, and the response that I got was, it's going to be an all-out battle in the fall. and that's what it's going to be. They're trying to stockpile talent, and they have a ton coming in, even before Andrew Fisher gets to campus for his visit. And I think Tennessee's in a really, really good spot with Andrew Fisher, the transfer third baseman from Ole Miss. We'll see if they can close out the deal. But even if you don't land him or don't land anybody else in the portal, you have a ridiculous amount of talent on the infield as well. Dean coming back, obviously. Ariel, Gavin Killen, the Louisville transfer. Dalton Bargo in the mix there as well. And then you have several freshmen coming in, a couple that you hope to avoid the draft with, and they'll lose a guy or two, even on the mound. Like that, they are going to get hit in the draft more than they ever have this draft than they have before. But the good thing is, like, even if you lose a couple of top guys that you obviously don't want to lose, like the class is so deep that you are still bringing in enough talent to offset it in a way. From top to bottom, it's just an incredibly talented class. And I mean, there's, off the top of my head, without looking at my notes, like 5 to 7 infielders who are ranked in the top 100 overall by perfect game. Like they're bringing in, like, it's always been, okay, you've got Drew Gilbert and Jordan Beck. You've got Christian Moore and Blake Burke. Like, you have your classes from top to bottom have been good, but you had kind of your headliners, 2 or 3 guys. Now it's, you have like 5 to 7 Christian Moores as high school prospects, obviously, coming in. And from top to bottom, it's no longer good to great, it's elite. And Will Heflin has said it. I've said it before. Like, if for those who don't follow baseball recruiting, just think about Alabama recruiting at its peak, Georgia recruiting at its peak, LSU at times, Ohio State. Like, that's what Tennessee baseball is doing right now, year after year after year. So they have a ton of talent coming in, and I mean, they're going to be 2 to 3 deep at each position, quite frankly, and it's going to be an all-out battle in the fall. And whether you're Gavin Killen, whether you're Dean Curley, Errol Antigua, one of these highly ranked freshmen coming in, you better not get too comfortable, because the moment you get too comfortable, somebody's going to step up and take your spot from you.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're just compiling talent, and like, you're going to lose more guys probably than you ever have, kind of like you said, like transfer portal, stuff like that. Guys just aren't playing. I think that's why you saw those freshman pitchers enter the portal. You know, it just didn't work out this year, whatever. But you have guys that's right behind them that you're just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
another 5-star, we're good.
Yeah, essentially. You know, it's unfortunate that Matthew Dallas and Derek Schaefer didn't work out. They were 2 big-time prospects coming in last year, and kind of viewed as the crown jewels. Maybe that's too strong of an expression to use, but Tennessee had to avoid the draft with those 2 guys, and it just did not click with them for whatever reason. I think Derek Schaefer wanted to go back home to Arizona, and he landed at Arizona State, which is a good landing spot for him. And Matthew Dallas, it was probably best for both parties to go their own separate way there. Just didn't click for either guy, which is unfortunate, obviously, after you spend so much time recruiting them. But it was, I do think there was an element, not to suggest that Schaefer and Dallas are not good pitching prospects, that they are, but you know, they would not be the top guys in this incoming freshman class that is about to arrive on campus. So there was a little bit of recruiting over them. And because you have the freshman class of arms coming in that you do have, there's not as big of a need or a desire to hold on to those guys, because you have more on the way, quite frankly. So just didn't click for either of those guys. And Schaefer ends up at a good spot at Arizona State. I'm sure Dallas will end up at a good spot. It looks like he's pitching well in the Cape Cod right now. So just didn't work out for those 2 guys. And just you're okay if you're Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee was. You hate that it didn't work out, but I also don't think that they were losing any sleep over it whatsoever.
Do you think Liam DeWill loses any sleep knowing that he turned down Tennessee the last go around and they won a national championship?
Yeah, probably as much sleep being lost as Chase Burns. So no, I had somebody tell me that Chase Burns put in one of the group texts that he's in with the guys that he played with, that he was happy for Tennessee or something along those lines. So
that's good.
And I mean, look, Chase Burns is about to get a lot of money and be a top 10 pick, and he had a phenomenal season. I know ECU was able to get was able to get to him in that game. But he is not the reason that Wake Forest came up short in the postseason. That offense was dreadful down the stretch for Wake Forest. So Chase Burns probably not losing a ton of sleep. But Liam Doyle is fascinating. I think Tennessee's in a good position there. I don't feel like they're as in good of a position as they are with Andrew Fisher, the third baseman. There's still some work to be done there. And both of those guys are arriving at Tennessee after spending some time at Florida. And Florida, not the easiest school to recruit against, but Tennessee also not the easiest school to recruit against. They haven't been for a while, and they're now fishing in a different pond than they ever have before.
Yeah,
and are able to be really, really selective. I know for quite some time there, fans were freaking out about we're not getting any guys from the portal, this or that. They were sitting back. They were focused on trying to win a national championship.
right. Sure.
But like Tanner Franklin was a guy that Tennessee was recruiting while they were in Omaha and on the phone with them and whatnot, and were able to secure his commitment while in. I know he committed afterwards, but they were recruiting him while they were in Omaha, and eventually that paid off. So they're just in a position where they can be really, really selective. And I know Tony's had a lot of difficult decisions in terms of should I go recruit this guy or that guy? Like 5 years ago, you take both of them without hesitation, and now you kind of have to be very selective. So they're going to be perfectly fine. They're going to get some more guys coming in, and I don't think people realize just how good the freshman class coming in is as well. Like there are several guys who can replicate what Dean Curley has done, and Tennessee's had several freshmen over the years that have really panned out. And this group is another group of 20 to 25 that is capable of doing the same thing.
Yeah. We talked about the advantage of winning a national championship in recruiting, but the disadvantage of you lose 2-3 weeks of recruiting in the portal. Maybe you can help me pass up this idea up the chain of command. I know emails aren't really a thing anymore, but maybe Tony sends out like an interest email to the prospect, and then when they respond, they get the out of office email, and it's just like, in Omaha, I'll get back to you, after we win or something. So that way, just hit them with the "we are in Omaha." We'll treat you right when we're done, but we're winning. That's what we do.
Look, it's no coincidence that Josh Elander's been on a bit of a tweeting spree. I know that he hasn't been tweeting as much as the common folk like myself, but he's been tweeting a lot by Josh Elander standards, and it's this graphic and that graphic of draft picks and championships and everything that they've accomplished during their time at Tennessee, and Garrett Crochet getting selected to the All-Star game today. Little things like that have popped up. Chase Dolander playing in the Futures game. Elander has been very active on Twitter for a reason. And
he's become the Lindsey Nelson update guy. That's where we see everything from the bird's eye view of the office. We get an Elander update every once in a while.
That's the only update you need, quite frankly. So they on a serious note, in terms of the email stuff, like, I know you were kidding, but like Tony does not have to spend time responding to emails in the portal because he is just bombarded. I don't mind sharing this. There was one email that Tennessee received that was, I struck out Christian Moore this year.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That was the recruiting pitch to Tennessee was, I struck out Christian Moore this year.
I like that. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tennessee was like, Tennessee didn't know whether to view that as a good thing or a bad thing as that player saying what he said. That player has not ended up at Tennessee and no idea where they went. But I thought that was hilarious. That's just an insight into how Tennessee is being bombarded right now.
Yeah. What did he do on the second at bat, though?
Right.
How did the rest of the at bats go?
He's like,
was Simo mad at the umpire during the at bat?
He's like, good news. I only had to pitch him once. I got yanked out after Blake Burke went deep on me. But I did.
But they're being bombarded by players in the portal. Opposing fan, and this has been the case for several years now. Opposing fan bases were getting their laughs off at Tennessee for coming up short in the postseason, and there's a stigma around Tennessee baseball that they're not good people or classless or whatever you want to call it. But come portal time, they're being bombarded by everybody for such a classless organization. They are blown up come portal season, and that's again just to point out that that they're fishing in uncharted waters that they've never fished in before, and rightfully so, right? They're in the midst of a heck of a run, and hard not to think. I had this thought earlier this afternoon, like when Tony's time at Tennessee is all said and done, which it should be like a 20 to 30 year career, only coach at one place. Like how it would be surprising to me if Tennessee is not viewed in the blue blood world of college baseball when Tony's time at Tennessee is done. You got to win some more championships to make that happen. But when Tony's time at Tennessee is done, how will they not be thought of as, you know, one of the best baseball programs in the country historically? I mean, how could you not mention them along the lines of how we talk about now of Texas and LSU and Florida and Arkansas and some of these other schools? If you're able to win some more championships, I mean, they should be in that conversation as one of the best baseball programs in the country. Not in just the Tony Vitello era, but it's like Tony woke up a sleeping giant and woke up a sleeping blue blood, if you want to look at it that way. Because I think the state of Tennessee and the university itself, it has plenty of resources to go off and maybe not have this 4-year run every 4 years, but have a quite a bit of success.
Yeah, and the fact that they've had so much success in the past couple of years, and then you mention it that they're fishing in a different pond now than they have talent-wise. And so that just makes you think like, oh God, like what is this? Like what is happening? Because like, yeah, you've seen a ton of talent come through here the past couple of years, but it wasn't like you just mentioned, like Tennessee could have 5 or 6 Christian Moores in this upcoming freshman class. So I mean, it is that is the crazy part to me, is like I don't think Tennessee, with the rebuild that happened, probably shouldn't be in the facilities, probably shouldn't be in the place that they are. But kudos to that staff for getting us to this point.
Yeah, it's a miracle. I mean, it is. I mean, it would take a lot of research, but to do a historical deep dive of greatest coaching jobs of all time, and without doing the research, I mean, how could another coaching job be any better than what Tony Vitello, Frank Anderson, Josh Elander, Quentin Eberhard, and so many other people, Chad Zerkers, like the job that they have done? How could this not be the greatest coaching job in college baseball history?
Yeah.
Certainly one of them. I mean, I don't know how it would not be in the conversation. Just looking at the success that they've had in a short amount of time, the 4-year stretch that they've had in the 7 years that they've been here, and really it's 6 years if you take the COVID year out, the 4-year run from 2020, which I guess that technically includes the COVID year, but y'all get what I'm saying. The fact that they've been able to do what they've done, win as much as they've had in this short amount of time, after where the program was when it took over and the university was pumping zero resources into the program, it's incredible. I mean, I would be stunned if you could find a coaching staff that has had equal success or more success than what this staff has had, given the resources that it was given when it took over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truly. And, I mean, it's hard not to think that Tony Vitello is going to win another championship, if not multiple more, at some point. And that's a lot easier said than done, right? Like Arkansas and Dave Van Horn, based off of how much they've won, you would think that they would have a national championship by now, and they don't.
Oh, they don't?
Yeah, don't tell Arkansas. Well, I guess you can tell Arkansas fans that their internet has been out in the state of Arkansas for like the last month. Once Dylan Dreiling, it's very weird. Dylan Dreiling hit that walk-off, I guess it's technically an RBI single, to beat Florida State in game 1 in Omaha. The moment that ball landed, it's very weird. Like the internet went completely out in the state of Arkansas, and it's not been turned back on. They've not been able to turn it back on. No,
that's crazy. Somebody should make a call.
Yeah. We'll let Tony get on the phone with his buddy Dave Van Horn and work that out. But I say that jokingly, obviously. But I mean, like they've been such a great program that they have deserved to win a national championship. But it is such a hard thing to accomplish that they haven't been able to do so. Mike Martin at Florida State, one of the all-time great college baseball coaches in history, was never able to win one. And it's because of how difficult it is. So it's easy to sit here right now and say less than a month after they won their first. Like, okay, knowing how young Tony is, the resources that he is now being given, and really they won it before their recruiting was like elite.
Sure.
I guess technically it already has been elite, but in terms of like rankings and all that fun stuff, they were able to win one before those guys got to campus. And hard not to think as of today, like them not winning a couple more, but we'll see how it plays out, because there are other programs who you would have thought would win a national championship and have not yet, because it is so difficult to win one.
Yeah, there's going to be no slowdown with Tony Vitello, I assume.
But it's all thanks to the great John Curry, and he doesn't get enough credit. One bad football hire, or tried to hire, and you just throw him out the window, throw him to the wolves.
Yep.
But never forget who brought Tony Vitello to campus. We don't forget. We July 7th is forever known as John Curry Day.
That's the first thing on John Curry's resume is I hired Tony Vitello.
Yeah, similar to striking out Christian Moore. I hired Tony Vitello.
That's if they could get away with it. I think I don't know who the player is that emailed Tennessee and said I struck out Christian Moore, but probably in his bio on X, and John Curry would probably like to put that in his bio on X as well.
Yeah.
He's like,
listen, I went rogue. Yeah, I went rogue for Tony. I go rogue for one other guy, and you fire me. So.
Maybe he just needs to start going rogue.
Yeah.
All the time.
Speaking of going rogue, when's your Zach Edey jersey coming in?
Well, I don't hate the Zach Edey pick.
You think refs are good now?
Yes. That was my first thought, is like, the Grizzlies are going to shoot 80 free throws a game. This is a genius pick by the Grizzlies. They are playing chess, not checkers.
I like that.
With the rest of the NBA. I mean, it is annoying to watch the Zach Edey experience. At least it was in college.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it'll be the exact same in the NBA.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously. And the people who say that Zach Edey was only good because he's 7'4", whatever he is, like that was the only reason he's good at basketball. You're telling on yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, he's good at basketball. Does he get the benefit of the whistle? Absolutely. He's also very hard to referee.
Sure.
And if you're an opposing fan base and having to play him, he drives you up a wall, and people stick up for him in that regard too much in terms of the national media. Really caping for him, and he gets a fair whistle every time, and he's difficult to officiate. Like, yeah, he's difficult to officiate. It's awful. It's also difficult for teams to play him because he gets the advantage with the whistle because he is so difficult to officiate. So I don't hate the pick. I mean, my issue would be, like, I don't think he's going to be a franchise player for the Grizzlies, of course, and probably don't need to be spending the number 10 pick on somebody that's probably not going to be a franchise-changing player. But in terms of like his fit, like I like it. I think he's gonna be a solid NBA player. I don't think he's gonna be a bust. He's not gonna be Hasheem Thabit at all. He is not gonna be that whatsoever. I don't know if he'll be an all-star or anything like that, but I also don't think he's gonna be a bust. And I think he'll be able to fit in well with Jaren Jackson Jr. Allow him to go make all the defensive plays. I think he's gonna really benefit from playing with one of the best point guards in the league, and playing off of Desmond Bane as well, one of the most underrated players in the league. So I didn't hate it. I thought it was funny, and it was quite the coincidence, no doubt, after Tennessee ran into him in the NCAA tournament. But I think Zach Edey is a good basketball player, and I do wonder how he'll translate to the NBA with his athleticism, and is he able to defend the bigs that are able to pop out and stretch the floor. That'll be interesting to see. But I also don't know that he's going to – I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be able to maybe hide some of that for him as well, with how Jaren's able to fly around the court. So, and then, of course, they gave him my favorite number is 14 by far. It's my favorite number, my lucky number, and, of course, they gave him 14. So it's either salt in the wound or it's destined for greatness, and I guess we'll see here over the next couple of years.
So you bought the jersey already. It's on the way.
Sounds like I talked myself into it. I guess I might need to. With him wearing 14, like I love the number 14. So if he like pops off and like turns into a real stud at the next level, that jersey will probably be bought at some point, no doubt.
Yeah, that's good. You gotta be you got to wait for until it happens, because I went ahead and bought a Bryce Young jersey and it was a disaster.
Yeah, I haven't figured out whether the Panthers have a Bryce Young problem or if Bryce Young has a Panthers problem. I would tend to lean towards Bryce Young having a Panthers problem.
Yeah,
But yeah, that rookie year did not go as well as I think a lot of people thought. Probably should have gone with CJ Stroud in hindsight, but
we got some linemen, so we'll see this year. But for right now, it definitely looks like a bad return on investment with the jersey.
I'd rather have Bryce Young than Russell Wilson.
That's true.
Although I'd rather have Justin Fields than Bryce Young. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, Justin Fields is going to return kicks. So.
He is. Xander's drawing up plays for him back there. Xander, big Steelers guy. He's actually from Pennsylvania in a sense. He's from Pennsylvania and Georgia. I don't know if he's talked about that with y'all. Next time y'all get him on, I'll let him explain that. But I am not from Pennsylvania. I just have to be a military brat who lived up there when Jerome Bettis was king and Ben Roethlisberger was taking over. And as a kid, as a fellow Ben, I thought that was pretty cool that their quarterback was named Ben. But so Xander and I are both Steelers.
That name often, so it's pretty wild,
right? But Xander, every time I see him, since we're both Steelers fan, he always asks, "Oh, what you think we're gonna do?" He always asks me Steelers. I mean, that was when we saw him at the golf course the other day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, how are you?
Well, that when we get him on the show, it always is like
somehow.
That's how it always strays off to the Steelers.
That is like his go. I think that's his go-to. Like if he's run out of things to talk about, he's like a robot to where he's preset to. All right, I've run out of words. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like. I just play baseball. I'm tired of like talking about that. Like, can we talk about the Steelers now?
That's 1,000% what it is.
I will say on the Zach Edey talk, if he's really good, he looks really good. NBA, we know he'll start getting the benefit of the whistle. They'll officiate. If he's good, they'll officiate towards him. We see it all the time in the NBA.
Well, yes and no. Yes, I do agree with you, but no, because he plays for the Grizzlies. And
that's also fair. Yep.
Yeah.
Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. I think Jaren's entering year 7 now. And like he's just now beginning to get calls and the benefit of the whistle. He's won Defensive Player of the Year. And even after winning Defensive Player of the Year, he like there more times than not, he would not get the benefit of the call and would not get a friendly whistle. And it is because he plays on a small market team. So
you're right. We got to get him to Boston. You're right.
Way. So, yeah, get him to Boston, get him to L.A., New York. Oh, I mean, there won't be a guy in the sport that gets more calls than that. It plays for him, and he's playing for one of those big name teams. But it is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah. Ben, this has been awesome, man. Appreciate you hopping on. I said it was going to be 15 minutes. I should have known it was not going to be that, so I do apologize.
No need to apologize. Happy to join and talk for as long as y'all want. Anytime y'all want. And you can always blame me. Lord knows that I love to talk and talk too much. I'm too long-winded.
I love it. We need to get you on the turn next.
Yep. We got you.
Well, I don't know if I want to embarrass, but I am not a good golfer whatsoever.
Nor I, sir. You're good.
I shot 100 yesterday.
Okay. We're in the same range then. I'm actually a really good putter. That's about it.
Okay.
For as much as I play, I can putt really well.
Yeah, we can scramble. We can figure out something.
I can hit the ball far too. It just always slices right. Never fail.
Okay. I'll go left. You go right.
I told y'all. When I was wrapping up our conversation, I said, "All right, I'm going to go play military golf, left, right, left, right." I'm all over the golf course. So we'll get out there and we'll shoot. I'd be lucky to get 100. I mean, we'll shoot around that. My goal in golf is to not lose golf balls. That's my goal.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. I'm getting to the point where I find a lot of golf balls too, and I have that best club in the bag that can get you more golf balls. So I use that quite a bit, especially on hole number 3. Is it 3? Yeah. 3? Yeah.
Yep.
Is that
the creek?
The creek dogwood left?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that hole. The thick brown stuff over to the right. I always slice my way.
You love that.
Hole 11 at Iguani is the dumbest hole in the history of golf. It is the dumbest and most maddening hole in all of golf. I don't know that professionals could play that hole.
No. Well, I don't know if you know this, but they do play it sometimes as a par 3. So they like have you down at the bottom there.
No,
And they
no.
play it
Are
as a par 3.
you talking about in tournaments?
Well, they play it as
They play it as a par 5, but it plays like
But it-
240.
but they
It's a lot of
play
fun.
from down
It's
there.
like 2 holes into one.
Yeah.
I hate it because I'm not good.
No, it's awful.
That's where I lose about 3 or 4 golf balls.
1,000%. I mean, I'm lucky if you don't go into the trees on the right off
Yeah.
the tee box.
Uh-huh.
And then if I'm even lucky to get my ball up and land it before you go down the hill, and it opens up. I mean, there's water to the right. There's another fairway to the right. There's water to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's not like the hole is closed once you get up to the top of the hill. You got to go to the back of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's all the way.
And then the pin placement probably sucks too. You're just
Yes.
3-putt when you finally get
And then
there.
if you can get over the creek and avoid the water on the left, and then you still got to get it on the green. That green is not a fun green to deal
No.
with. There's water behind it. There's trees and bushes to the right. It's awful. Ryan Schumpeter and I go to Iguani a good bit, and Schumpeter and I just like that. There's one hole every round of golf for those of us who are not good that is just, why do I even try? Why do I play? This is dumb as all get out. You say things that you don't want your mom to hear.
Oh.
That is that hole for Schumpeter and I. It's like we don't talk on that hole because we're so mad at golf.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous.
That's it. Sorry for cussing.
Sorry for this.
I just have a golf ball in my pocket every time I play that hole. Just like I know, even if I think I can find it, I know I probably won't. So I better have an extra one to drop.
Yeah. Well, my buddy that we were talking about earlier, Ethan, who we played with, or who I played with, that's his first time playing Iguani, and he had. I told him going into, I was like, Iguani is not forgiving, and
No.
he was like hitting multiple balls off the tee, and I'm just like hitting one. Like it's not worth it. I'm just going to lose golf balls.
Yeah.
So I'll get up. If I slice it into the trees, I'm like, all right, I'll drop up there. I'm not hitting another one. Well, and then the one with the, I think 4, 5, I think it's 6.
The par 5 over the tee box is right over the water. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you hit one straight, it's going in the water.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, like it goes left, like you have water all the way down on the left side to worry about. I always end up hitting it over that water, hitting it over the fairway, and slicing right into the water on the next hole, way down yonder.
Yeah, I've
been there, brother.
Like my best tee shot the other day when y'all saw me was on that hole. I smoked the ball, hit it perfectly. It even had a little hook in it for once instead of a little bit of a slice, and I was sitting pretty going into my second shot. And I used my 3-wood. I hit it pretty well. Had a little bit of slice into it, not terrible. I hit it nice and far too, and like right with that water on the right side when you're going down the fairway on 6, that water on the right starts to creep in as you approach the green a little bit. And I mean, right at the end of it, I'm slicing a little bit off, and it just take a big hop right into water. And it wasn't like, by my standards, it wasn't even a terrible ball strike for my ability, and it's like I still lose the ball. That golf course, I don't have any hair as y'all can tell, but it makes me lose the hair, the little hair that I still.
I'm going gray because of it too.
Well, at least you're going gray. I'd rather go gray than go bald.
Same. We appreciate it, man. You have a good one, and we'll get out on the golf course, and we won't film you if you don't want to. But I mean, hey,
I'll make it entertaining.
It'll be a time. We can invite Shumper too, and we can just have.
I was about to say that we'll get a Shumpert out there. Shumpert and I go about once a month or so somewhere in Knoxville.
Is he pretty good?
Better than me. Better than
Okay.
me. And better if you're shooting around 100, then yes, he's better than you too. He's on the path to like breaking 90 right now. I think it is.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's 80. I think it's 90. He's not 80 yet, but he flirts with breaking 90 almost every round. So
okay, yeah,
he's got an old man swing, crafty lefty. He's a Xander Seacrest of golf. Crafty lefty. He has a wicked hook, not a slice, and just old man gets up there, doesn't hit it far, has a hook to it, and ends up in the fairway more often than not. See, if I had the accuracy off the tee box that he has, and then he was able to putt like I could, we could probably get around 85-ish each round. So
love it.
I mean,
we'll get out there. The four of us, we'll get out there soon, sometime this month, and chop it up and make a fool of ourselves.
Cool.
100%.
Yep. Appreciate it, Ben. Thanks, brother.
Yep.
Have a good
Always
one, man.
appreciate y'all having me on. Give me a shout if y'all need anything.
All right.
Absolutely.
See you, man.
Thanks. Appreciate Ben hopping on.
Yeah.
Always good talking a little ball with him. Guy that knows the ins and outs, especially more than us. I also just noticed this. I don't think we talked about it. Xander hit right-handed the other night.
Yeah.
Did you all talk about it?
Yeah.
I
was like, you do everything. I was like, I'm still not used to you being right-handed. Like,
you know what? That's right. He's actually right-handed. He broke his arm.
Yeah, he just
throws
left, which doesn't make any sense. Like, if you got to do something else,
he's such a weirdo.
Yeah, he is. He's a goober. We had another VFL in here. Jared Dickey was in here.
Taking time from just hitting the baseball really well to
dude. He's freaking raking right now.
Yeah,
good for him.
Speaking of hitting the ball forward, shout out Jared Dickey.
Yeah.
Does
he have any years left? You want to come back? I mean, we could use a professional hitter in the line.
Absolutely. Although I think we may have some more in the future. So
yeah,
no knock to Jared Dickey. I mean, yeah, if you want to come back, you're welcome to. We'll take you.
Sure.
Also, one thing as we talked about postseason that was talked about all the way up until Tennessee won, then it got forgotten as it kind of should. But teams were using it against Tennessee. Pretty crazy that Tennessee lost to 4-seed Evansville in their run to Omaha.
It's true, yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I feel like it would have been talked about more if Tennessee didn't just run them out of the stadium in Game 3. If it would have been a close game, like that would have been something like, I mean, this team lost to Evansville, but I just think it goes to
I think it was used against them until really they won.
Yeah, I guess. But then you beat Florida State, you beat North Carolina. Like, I mean, what are you even talking about anymore? I mean, you just won the SEC championship tournament and regular season. So, yeah.
I didn't say they were smart when they did it. They just did.
Yeah, it just goes to show like any team can be beaten. And that's why you play a series. That's the best part about baseball is like, yeah, it is probably one of the toughest ones to win with the amount of games, and you got to be consistent and all that stuff. But like you can have an off game.
Yeah.
You can't have two. You can have one.
Yep, exactly. 100%. All right, let's talk as we kind of get into the rest of the show here. Let's talk a little football. Let's move to some football.
Yeah, let's do it. I was kind of like thinking about the college football playoff, and I'm like,
as we all are.
Yeah, and I'm like, somebody asked me at work, they're like, I mean, do you think we got a shot? And I was like, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, there's just a lot, I think a lot like baseball, there's a lot of stuff that like has to fall into place. But I think if you're looking where Tennessee like should be at, like if you win all the games you should win. That means Florida, you should beat Florida. You should beat that Florida team. I don't care if it's, Florida's got your number, whatever. It's at home. You should beat that team. You should beat Kentucky at home. I think the three games that you're really looking at is Alabama, Georgia, and Oklahoma. And yeah, like you have to win other games. But I'm saying if you win all the games you should win, those three games, all you got to do is win one of those and you're in. I mean, I looked at the college football playoff last year and like, I was like, what is the winning total need to be at for you to make that 12 team playoff? It was 10-2.
Yeah. Really? I thought you could have been 9-3. Wow.
So, I mean, everybody was 10-2 or better. The only team that wasn't was Louisville. They're in a crappy conference, so I get it, and Tulane. But like you lose to Alabama, Georgia, and I think that what makes the Oklahoma game so important, and probably even more so than we've talked about before, is like you go win that game, it's like in front of you.
Yeah.
Like it's right there you just got to go take care of business. And, you get Alabama at home, you win that one. I mean, only a Butch Jones type coach can lose that.
We did lose to South Carolina after beating Alabama at home. So
that's true.
But
we would have been in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, you're not wrong about the 12 team. We would have been the 4 team, as it turns out, if you just beat South Carolina.
Yeah.
what was the drama surrounding that 2016 team with South Carolina? Jalen Hurd, is the story is Jalen Hurd refused to go back in the game. So one year we have a guy that's apparently
that was Georgia, wasn't it?
no Georgia. He got concussed.
Oh, okay.
Supposedly.
Well, when he
He did get hit hard.
tiptoed in the end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But South Carolina, the story goes that he refused to go into the game. Wait, no, he would have already. Was that 15? No, it would have been 16. I guess it would have had to be Georgia. Or did he finally leave the team after that South Carolina
Is that when
game?
he fumbled?
I think he finally left the team after that South Carolina game. Yeah, I think he may have fumbled earlier in that game.
No, I think
Georgia, he did fumble.
I thought we fumbled.
We fumbled on the play he should have been in.
Yes. Okay.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And it was Carlin Filsamy, right?
Sounds right.
If I remember correctly. Because AK he had come off the field and Jalen Hurd would not go back on.
That sounds right.
Correct. Yeah.
That was a bad night.
That was a bad night.
Would we have been in the 12-team playoff that year? Nope, because we lost to Vandy later on. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, is like 9-3, you could probably, depending on how things go, like you could probably sneak your way in because
sure.
Even looking back in 2022, you think even if you beat South Carolina, you're not in, and then things get even crazier from then on out. And you would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? 9-3 could end up there. So I think there's a lot of routes for teams like Tennessee to that 12-team playoff. I think there are.
Yeah, you just got to be you got to be in the upper echelon of the SEC, but you don't have to be that top tier anymore.
Right, and I think that's where a lot of people say it takes away from the regular season. I do think it doesn't make the regular season less important because you can still lose a game, but you still have to win all the games you're supposed to. You still have to go and take care of business. You just don't have to sneak off these wins that you're not supposed to get.
Yeah. But also, if you could get in the 5 to 8 range and you get a home playoff game,
stand up. We won it. We won it. In fact, I don't even want to be number one. I want a home playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah. Being number one is overrated.
Oh, overrated.
No one wants to be that.
If we're number one, though, I would like that too.
No,
but won't be number two.
Yeah.
If you're going to not host a home playoff game, be number one.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to somehow.
Well, and the baseball team won a national championship. Is it just like something brewing a little bit? I mean, the basketball team,
Morgan Wallen song before you know it. Something brewing.
Yeah, they did lose in the Elite
Kenny's going to be
Eight.
wearing a Cal shirt when that song gets sung.
Yeah, they did lose.
Like, did I hear brewing? Sorry, UCLA. Cal's the Golden Bears. Bears, Bruin, you get it.
They did lose. Like the basketball team did lose in the Elite Eight, but that felt like a very much a Final Four championship game. Like that was like two of the best teams in the country. Probably two of the three best.
I mean, yes, but I'd rather be in the Final Four. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, it just
You're
kind
not
of
wrong.
the way.
I won't participate. I won't participate in that one because I'd just rather be in the Final Four.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think there is something to
But you got to an Elite Eight, which is everything that people said Rick Barnes couldn't do.
Right.
So it felt like even though this is a guy that could retire any day, especially when you think about the money he's made, it's also a nice step to take. I'll say that.
Yeah. And I don't think Rick Barnes is going to Omaha if he's just on a
retirement tour.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's kind of going into like what Ben McKee said about baseball winning and like what it's done for you. People want to be here. It felt like with Dalton Connect, Josiah, Vescovi, kind of felt like this was the only year you had, and then they go off and rattle off an insane transfer portal class. Then you also have Cam Carr, who's getting a ton of attention right now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like
Zakai
back. It doesn't feel like that was your last chance with Rick Barnes anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot to, you got to see him start playing first, but it doesn't feel like that was the last chance.
And it is so weird. Like, you want the big, 5-star recruits like that. That's like, especially in basketball, like you see Kentucky, you see Duke, all Kansas, right off all these 5 stars. And you're like, man, I want that. But now with the transfer portal, it
doesn't really, you'd still like them, but
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee signed one guy in this class.
You only want them if they're going to be immediate impacts. Otherwise, they're transferring.
Yeah, they're gone after that first year. If they have to sit, I mean, no one's sitting in college basketball anymore. So yeah, I think it's interesting with the transfer portal, and we had some questions, and I'll go ahead and kind of get into or get into some of those. But before I do that, Landon Allen said, "The portal giveth, the portal taketh away." I mean,
it does.
It does, but I feel like the way where Tennessee's at right now, it's more giveth than taketh. I don't think, the basketball one's kind of hurt a little bit, but then what you got, it didn't hurt as much because you're still in an attractive program. Now, when you're bad and you lose your best players, that's when it stings a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like the Henry Toto stung a lot. The Chase Burns stung because you knew how good he was, and you're just like, dude, if you stayed, good God.
Yeah.
But baseball, with this year, you had those two guys leave the program, and they were kind of your darlings out of that recruiting class. Well, here comes Dylan Moy. He pitches in the SEC championship. He wasn't supposed to get the innings that Matthew Dallas and Derek Schaefer were getting.
Right.
But it clicked, and I think that's why it's big to recruit. Not just you want guys that are going to be in your program a long time.
Absolutely.
And I think Dylan Moy, he's really good in high school. We'll see kind of how it works, and the moment wasn't too big for him. So, yeah, guys behind him.
Absolutely.
All right, so home playoff game, we're booking it.
Yeah, go ahead. Gonna do it. We'll have hot coffee at the tailgate, courtesy of Grade A Grounds. Real quick, let's just mention
got some questions.
The big news. Okay, yeah, do questions then.
Patrick Edie said, what other transfers are the Vols looking at? Chances we land Fisher and Doyle. Thank you. Love the show. Patrick, appreciate you getting in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Ben kind of answered a lot of those, Cade Fisher at Florida, Liam Doyle, Andrew Fisher, Eric Radazak from Niagara. You got Gavin Killen. But I think those are kind of the only guys you have right now visiting. You could probably see more depending on, how this week kind of goes with a lot of those guys. But, I would look at those first. I'm interested to kind of see how they work. Is another outfielder because I know they tried to get the kid from Miami, and then you had Tony Vitello go off about if you're looking for a handout, don't come here, don't waste our time. So I think that might have been about that. So if they were looking for an outfielder, I want to know who else could fit that mold, or they just think they got enough. I'm interested to see that.
Right.
And I think a lot of it probably depends on Hunter Inslee if he makes a decision to come back or not. And then we got All Vol Everything. It says, do you believe Heupel and company is recruiting at a high enough level to consistently compete for an SEC title? In his tenure, we have finished 5th, 4th, 8th, and currently 7th, respectively, in the SEC, according to On3.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to pick up if you want to consistently be there, but I think they're putting themselves in a position to start to.
Yeah. I think they're recruiting better than they ever have.
Right.
I think they've adjusted a little bit. I think they expanded the board some. Whereas if they do miss out on somebody, it's not like, oh crap, what now? Kind of thing. And they're 7th right now, that doesn't seem great, but that's 11th in the country. I think sure, you always want it to be better, but with the transfer portal, I don't think the recruiting rankings are as huge of a kind of where you're at in terms of being a national championship contender. Yeah, it seems to translate, but I think with the transfer portal, it doesn't translate as much.
Right. Yeah. think they got a ways to go. But yeah, I feel like they're hitting some spots. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, too, you got to go win some big games consistently to really be in the mix.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yep. But you go land David Sanders and some other Travis Smith Jr. You land some of those guys, like you should be sitting pretty. It's all about filling spots too, because I mean you can land as many 5 stars as you want. Do any of those? How many of those impact your program? And yeah, Georgia has a bunch behind them. Kind of what I was mentioning earlier. When you lose somebody, it's not a big deal. I don't think Tennessee's getting deeper and deeper with their roster where when you lose somebody to the transfer portal, it doesn't seem like a huge deal. Like I feel like they're recruiting talent. Like they're having more talent than they've had since they've been here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then Jordan Taylor says, a football question for you. Who gives us the most trouble outside of Georgia on this year's schedule?
I mean, Alabama's an obvious one.
Yeah. You just don't know what you have in Kentucky with Brock Vandagriff.
Yeah, but I'd probably go Oklahoma right now. It's at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's
Jackson Arnold seems to be doing well. I know he didn't have a great bowl game, but they seem like he's doing just fine. And that offense is going to do well. And with Tennessee's secondary issues that they've had the past couple of years, I got to think like that is going to be a tough game. Arkansas, I don't really know what they have, if they have anything.
Vanderbilt's away.
Yeah, Alabama's going to be good.
You just brushed over that like it was real. Yeah. I don't like that.
Vanderbilt's away. Is it away?
It is not in Neyland.
Yes, that's fact. It's at that high school 3 hours away.
Yeah. Cool, no Jumbotron that apparently will not be operational this year.
Oh, really?
I think they said it wouldn't be done until 2025.
I mean, how hard is it to get a Jumbotron?
That may not be real. It may have been a joke, but I did see that somewhere.
That's awesome. I actually love that.
Right.
Yeah, I got to think Oklahoma. I think NC State is a team with Grayson McCall. Like that's an interesting.
Kind of forgot about them. Yeah,
dynamic. It is a neutral side, but Nico won't have a ton of starts under his belt. Just have 2 against Iowa and Chattanooga. I don't know if that's the best. What you want out of a starter going into a top 25 game, but I don't really know what NC State has other than Grayson McCall. They got a Conception wide receiver who's really good. I think they got some transfers. I think Justin Jolie, kid from UConn, the tight end. I think he went there. So yeah, it should be an interesting matchup. But I think that Oklahoma game is not looking past NC State, but that Oklahoma game is one where I think with all the storylines that come with it, that game feels like a huge game in regards to like what the rest of the season looks like.
Yeah.
All right. Most important, real quick. That's all the questions we got.
Got 2. First one's obviously you've seen Dalton Connect, making a little name for himself in summer league. You also had a play today where Dalton Connect hits a 3 and then Vescovi goes down and hits a layup right after. So just balls all over the place, man.
Yeah, Connect had 12 in the game tonight. And Vescovi had 6. He was 3 for 4 with 3 rebounds. Yeah, it's going to take Dalton, I think, a little bit to get acclimated. He's just struggling to just to see the ball go through the hoop. Number one, I mean the athleticism's there. I think it's going to take a little bit of time not being the guy every single night.
Yeah. Right.
So, also the Lakers summer league team is ass. Like they are horrible. thinking most important. I was going to mention Garrett Crochet being an all-star. I think that's big for him, number one. And, he's been, I think, has the best ERA in Major League Baseball since May. Obviously, he's got a horrible team that he's on, but he's making the most of it and gets that first all-star. And I think he leads the MLB in strikeouts right now with like 140-something. So he's killing it. That's good for him and also Tennessee as a program, kind of be that first Tony Vitello player to really, show what he can do at the major league. So I'm excited for a couple years down the road where the bigs are sprinkled with Tennessee players.
Yeah, absolutely. My last one, going back to baseball, it's Hunter Inslee in Huntington, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Huntington? Yeah. His own parade. I mean, that's killer. Get your own parade.
That's pretty sick.
Pretty sick. It looked like it was a cool scene. Looked like the entire town kind of came out. Just a really cool moment. I don't know who it was that was speaking. Really, really cool moment that reminded me, wow, community was so cool. He said, you guys come around and support people when they're, down and they need help. But you also come out to celebrate their success. And this is evidence of that. And so just a really cool parade. Don't know much about that town, but it's obviously support their people. It's really cool for Hunter Inslee to experience that.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome for him. I think Kavaris Tears, I think Marshall County is doing that same thing.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
On Tuesday. So
and they saw it and they were like, we can do it better.
Yeah. Yeah, all these little small towns in Tennessee are just going to be doing that for the baseball players. My next one is going to be Ben Rice, the first baseman for the Yankees. 3 home runs yesterday against the Boston Red Sox. First Yankee rookie ever to have 3 home runs in a game. And I think 12 total bases, 7 RBIs. So really big game for Ben Rice. It was funny. They had him do like a curtain call, like come out of the dugout and raise his hat. And they had to like show him where to do it at. He's like, can I just like go over? He's like, no, go around and get out of the dugout and do
it. Fail of the week.
Fail of the week. I got this. I'm not going to mention the lady, but it was Kurt Magid. Obviously, it was like 56 days, I think, yesterday. Until Tennessee plays football. And so they were mentioning him and he's on there and talking something. And then this lady posted a picture of her and a football player from back then. And it was not Kurt Magid.
Was that in response to our tweet?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was Tiny Richardson. It was not Kurt Magid.
That's awesome. My first fail of the week is we're gonna go back to fireworks. Fireworks gifted me this fail of the week. I'm sure you guys saw it, but the Stadium of Fire show in Utah, terrible name for this to happen at. Right after the flyovers, I'm sure some people thought like those planes have live rounds in them. Yeah. Fireworks go off. They are apparently just aimed directly at the crowd somehow. Like not just a bad. I mean, these things are hitting people on a dime. Pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, at least like what 6 probably hit somebody.
Yeah. I mean, pay for floor seats and also get
one hit somebody on the field. I'm like, that is insane. Fireworks suck, and that's evidence of it.
Yeah, just so many things that can go wrong with them. They make me nervous. They really do.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else. I think I'm good.
I've got one more, probably more of a stupidity. I'm sure you guys saw it on Twitter yesterday. Channel TN asked, in a situation, who would you, in a game on the line situation, JG or Joe Milton? My fail is for all you morons that said it was either close or took JG. Brother, it ain't close. It ain't close. And it's not. No offense to Joe Milton. It's not because Joe Milton's an exceptional game on the line quarterback, but my God, did you watch? See, this is where I'm like, some of y'all have not been fans. You weren't fans until after Alabama in 2022. You couldn't be. You could not have. You can't say you watched JG play and say you take JG.
I mean,
I saw
yeah.
someone seriously say, well, he's on an XFL roster right now. He's playing like complete ass for an XFL team right now. Yeah, he is. You're absolutely right. That's just how you could argue that's close is beyond me.
I mean, JG didn't get drafted.
Joe
there's
Milton's
Exhibit
first
8.
play at Tennessee, he overthrew somebody. JG's, he fumbled the ball behind West Virginia. That was actually just his first play under Pruitt. His first play at Tennessee was him sitting on the bench pouting because someone started over him.
Yeah, that's bad. I mean, just
not
watch
close.
the Kentucky game in 2020 and think.
Yeah. Pick a game to watch. Oh, you picked Auburn? Good. You found the one decent game. And that was him just chucking it up.
Somebody did say Joe beat Clemson in an Orange Bowl. JG needed a onside kick recovery to beat Indiana in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah. And needed Juwan Jennings to go nuclear when he finally came in the second half because he was suspended in the first half. Shout out to Greg Sankey on that one. We're going to admit you purposely stomped on someone's head, but it's only worth a half game suspension. It's just the most moronic thing I've ever seen in my life.
I love it. Guys, go check out our good friends at Rowback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase. They have the best quality clothing in the business. Go check them out. Rowback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase.
Do it.
Yeah. Guys, let's get out of here. Been fun. We'll see you back on Thursday. Got some news coming pretty soon. So just stay tuned for that. Also, if you got to check the kind of teaser video of the turn, there'll be some golf content that we do. Don't know how often we're going to do it.
That's not even the news that we're bringing. That's
Yeah,
just
that's
extra.
not- yeah,
That's
that's
just
just
extra
extra.
stuff. So
Yeah, we're excited to do that, and Iguani's been kind enough to let us do that, and excited to have more guests on, and we'll see kind of where it goes. But yeah, should have that first episode out at some point. So be on the lookout for that. Also, go sign up for our golf tournament.
please.
September 28th. The
Morgan
link is-
Wallen may or may not be there.
Yeah. Yeah. There will be some VFL guests there. So sign up. It'll be a great time. We'll have breakfast, coffee, lunch, a bunch of prizes. So please sign up for that if you think you got what it takes. There you go. A little challenge in there.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good week. We'll bring the boat in, and we out.